I'm Andrea, a passionate DEI advocate and consultant on a mission. Join me in each episode as we celebrate diversity, ignite conversations, and craft workplaces and educational institutions where everyone thrives. This podcast is my commitment to making a meaningful impact on the world of diversity, equity, and inclusion. So are you ready? Let's get diversifused. Welcome to Season 2 of Get Diversifused, where we'll explore the evolving landscape of diversity, equity, and inclusion. I'm your host, Andrea Horton-Mericli, founder of Diversifused and a passionate DEI advocate and ally. This season, I'm taking a different approach. It's guestless, and I'll be diving into the evolving landscape of DEI, focusing on the questions and concerns that you, founders, organizations, and other DEI advocates and allies are facing in 2025. With all the shifting federal and state policies, it's critical to stay informed, and I'm here to break it down for you in 5 to 10 minute episodes in Season 2 of Get Diversifused. Today, we're digging into the current state of DEI in 2025, a year filled with uncertainty, but also opportunity. In recent months, DEI initiatives have faced real challenges. Notably, the Trump administration issued directives to curb DEI programs in educational institutions. However, federal judges in Maryland and New Hampshire blocked these moves, citing concerns over free speech and the vagueness of the language. At the same time, some of the biggest corporations like Walmart, Meta, Target, and McDonald's are rolling back their DEI efforts and initiatives, blaming either political pressure, economic instability, or both. It's clear DEI efforts are at a critical crossroads. Despite the pushback, DEI matters more than ever. Research shows that organizations with strong DEI programs outperform their peers in innovation, financial returns, and employee engagement. And in education, DEI creates equitable access and belonging for all students, no matter their background. Let me share some personal experiences here. When I first entered college, I went to a very large state university outside of my hometown. Being a first-generation college student and having graduated from a low-income school district in El Paso, I struggled. It's not that I couldn't do the work. I graduated high school in the top 10%, was in the honor society throughout middle school and high school, and took honors courses throughout high school. Now, this was before AP classes, so that tells you how far back I'm talking about. But still, it's not that I couldn't do the work. It's that I didn't know where to go for help. I felt like I didn't have the support. I was doing my best to navigate a system before personal laptops were a thing that historically wasn't friendly to marginalized populations. And to top it all off, I felt like I was just a number in this enormous institution. This is when I also realized the inequities in the K-12 system. Both my dorm roommate and I went to public school, but she graduated from a high-achieving public school with top test scores in Clear Lake, Texas, where NASA is located. We were both majoring in engineering, her in mechanical and me in electrical. Her entire immediate family had graduated from the university, and she had older friends who were attending the university too. So she had resources, and I later found out had the inside scoop of which professors to take and which ones not to. I remember her looking at my schedule and saying, "Oh my, you have some tough professors. Why did you register with them?" In all honesty, my male student advisor registered me, and I didn't realize that we had the option to challenge or request certain professors. Not that I knew who was who. In addition to this, one night I was doing my best to answer the questions on my never-ending Calculus 2 homework. She asked me, "Didn't you learn this in high school?" To which I answered, "No. We were taking a lot of the same subjects, but with different instructors. Two of mine actually wrote the textbook. And she never cracked a book, or seemed not to in my case, from what I saw." This is when I realized my public education in the same state as hers was lacking to what she had experienced. Well, I could go on, but the inequities I experienced in support and services to help me feel like I belonged and to make me feel like the institution wanted me to succeed were lacking. When I moved states and started working, not my first job, I was one of the few minorities in the organization. I could count every minority on one hand and still have fingers left. I remember overhearing one of the leadership saying, "Well, we hired our Mexican." That moment stuck with me because it made me realize how many barriers I and others still have to face. These personal experiences are part of why I'm so passionate about this work today, because access to opportunity and belonging should not be considered privileges. They should be a given for everyone, no matter what you look like, where you come from, your income level, etc., etc. The news headlines may change, but the reason why we fight for DEI never does, to make sure no one feels like an outsider in spaces where they deserve to have the same opportunities for success. So now let's talk about taking action. What can you do? Whether you're leading a startup, running a company, hiring your next team, building a classroom, or a part of a team. 1, stay informed. Track DEI-related policy changes at both the federal and state levels. 2, engage in dialogue. Create brave spaces where employees, students, and colleagues can shape their experiences without fear. Support inclusive practices. Update hiring processes, teaching materials, and leadership training to reflect today's diverse world. Invest in education. Commit to offering DEI training that's proactive, not reactive. For example, implicit bias training, cross-cultural communication training in today's globalized world, workplace culture, and so on. Lead by example. No matter who you are, no matter what level of the organization you are, lead by example. Model inclusive behavior, small daily actions like listening without judgment, honoring different communication styles, and sponsoring and mentoring underrepresented talent matter deeply, and the effects can be beneficial for everyone. The road ahead for DEI isn't going to be easy, but it's worth it. By staying informed, building human-centered workplaces, and leading with empathy and courage, we can ensure that diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility stay important parts of the cultures in business, education, and society as a whole. Thank you for joining me today on Season 2, Episode 1 of Get Diversifused. Let's not wait for someone else to make change happen. It starts with each of us. I'll talk with you next time. Remember, stay diversifused. Bye. Your voice matters, and I want to hear it. What DEI challenges are you seeing in business, education, or your community this year? What questions or concerns do you have about the shifting DEI landscape in 2025? What topics would you like me to dive into in a future episode? Share your questions and ideas with me at Andrea@diversifused.com or comment below. Let's spotlight the real issues and create real solutions. Now go out there and make a difference. And as always, for more strategies on building inclusive workplaces and communities, check out Diversifused. We're here to guide you on your DEI journey. Make sure to visit our website at diversifused.com and follow us on social media for the latest happenings, blog posts, tips, and events.